Streaming on CrosswordsToday.com. Across the nation, several Halloween celebrations ended in gunfire over the weekend. One shooting turned deadly in Florida after a fight broke out between two groups. We have the story. And 15 people were shot at a Halloween party in Chicago. The suspect in that shooting is in custody after trying to run from police. We have the conditions of those shot. Plus, we're remembering Matthew Perry. The iconic Friends actor was found dead in his Los Angeles home over the weekend. New details are emerging this morning about his death. We'll tell you the latest developments out of LA.
And we're going to take a look at those cold temperatures forecasted today and tomorrow and those rain chances, and that's all coming up in the weather.
We'll see what massive matchups we have this Friday coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the 30th day of October 2023. It's now 6:31 on our Monday morning, and it's National Audio Drama Day. Audio
drama. How do you explain that to me?
So I'm thinking it's something like The Shadow. It's an old-fashioned radio show that used to come on. I would listen to it on our family trips to Mexico, and it was a really great show. It's called The Shadow. And then there's also The Green Hornet. So
might have to see that Shadow one you're talking about because Halloween's tomorrow.
Well, you won't be able to see it because
hear it.
You can only hear that audio drama.
Obviously knew that.
But let's talk about those shadows. Are we going to get much shade today?
No, I mean, well, actually, yes, we're going to get lots of shade today. It's going to be quite cloudy, but we're talking about those temperatures today. It is going to be quite cold out there, Carolina. We'll take a look at those temperatures this morning. 20s are forecast up there. In the Panhandle, 23 in the Amarillo, and 29 in Lubbock. And we're expecting to only change just a few degrees today, starting out in the upper 40, actually mid 40s, rising to like maybe just a few degrees, like in the upper 40s, like 47, 48 today. And they're going to cool back down into probably the 30s overnight tonight. We'll take a look at that more in a little bit because we got another windy day today as that cold front just blew through our neck of the woods yesterday about 5:30 p.m. Yesterday afternoon. And take a look at those winds for today, about 20 miles an hour, maybe the low to mid 20s, sustained winds for the rest of our area here at the Crossroads, with those gusts probably reaching up to 35, mid to upper 30s in some areas here, making a quite windy day today. We look at those temperatures for the rest of the day as well. Pretty much in the mid to upper 40s for the rest of the day. We're really only going to be rising just maybe a couple degrees, if anything, today, because that cold front is really blown through, or has been really blown through over the last several hours, and we could probably drop into, like I said, the 40s and maybe touching into the 30s overnight. Well, what's going to happen is that low that just came through, giving us that cold front, is going to push off, giving us that high. It's going to return back to the Gulf of Mexico, giving us that southerly flow, bringing us back to those warm temperatures this weekend. We're going to take a look at that and more in just a few more moments. But for now, back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Across the nation this morning, at least 2 people have died and well over 10 people were hurt during Halloween celebrations in Florida early Sunday morning. Police say the shooting took place around 3 a.m. on East 7th Avenue when a fight broke out between 2 groups. 2 people were killed and 18 others were hospitalized. The extent of their injuries is unknown. Authorities say one person who may have been involved surrendered to police. They believe there were at least 2 shooters. Authorities in Chicago are investigating a shooting that left 15 people wounded on Sunday. Authorities were called to the 1200 block of South Pulaski for reports of shots fired. Upon arrival, officers reportedly observed a suspect firing shots into a building where a large gathering was taking place. The suspect attempted to flee the scene, but was later taken into custody. Authorities recovered a firearm on the suspect. At least 13 victims sustained gunshot wounds during the shooting, and all were listed in good condition at area hospitals with a variety of injuries. However, 2 victims were transported to the hospital in critical condition. More details are emerging surrounding Matthew Perry's death. Law enforcement says the beloved Friends star, known for playing Chandler Bing, was found at his Pacific Palisades home after an apparent drowning. The cause of his death has yet to be determined, but investigators say there were no drugs located at the scene and there was no evidence of foul play. Perry was open about his battle with drugs and alcohol over the course of his career, even writing a memoir about his near-death experience in 2019 when his colon burst due to opioid overuse. Perry was 54 years old. Residents of Maine took time to mourn days after the mass shooting that stunned the entire state. The goal of the gathering, lift up those left to grieve the victims. It came just 2 days after the suspect was found dead and as new details emerged about the weeks and months leading up to the killings.
An emotional vigil last night in Lisbon, Maine, where more than 1,000 people gathered with hugs and tears in mourning for the 18 people killed last week in a mass shooting at 2 businesses in nearby Lewiston.
I never knew that this would happen in Lewiston. It was just such a heartbreaking thing that it happened.
Suspect Robert Card, a 40-year-old Army reservist with a history of mental health issues, found dead Friday with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. His body discovered in an unlocked trailer at a recycling center where he worked.
Why this area? Why this many people? Why in general? I would love to know why this all happened, because it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
ABC News has learned Card continued to have access to weapons despite a yellow flag law in Maine allowing guns to be seized from individuals deemed a threat. In August, Card was turned away from buying a silencer from a gun dealer after Card checked the yes box on his application that asked in part, have you ever been committed to a mental institution?
We still have in our possession the silencer. It's still here.
And last month, a local sheriff reportedly sent an alert to other authorities after sources say Card threatened to shoot up an Army Reserve Center.
We paid attention to it, kept an eye on the area. The guy never showed up down here, never had contact with him, no nothing.
Now the community holding vigil for the lives lost and the more than a dozen wounded in Maine's worst mass shooting ever.
There's a sense of relief, a sense of safety, but it doesn't take away from the huge hole in our community.
And God heal us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Authorities are still investigating a motive for the mass shooting and any evidence the suspect was ever forcibly admitted to a mental institution, which would have come up on a background check, automatically blocking him from buying guns. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Police may have saved a life over the weekend. That's after taking a gun and illegal drugs off the streets of Hallettsville. The contraband was seized during a traffic stop Saturday in the 1200 block of East 4th Street. Police say they took methamphetamine, fentanyl, and a pistol from the vehicle. A 20-year-old man was taken into custody. It's unclear if the man was the only person in the vehicle, but police say he is from the Hallettsville area. He faces multiple charges this morning, 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance and the unlawful carrying of a weapon. He was transported and booked into the Lavaca County Jail. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:38 on our Monday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Plans for a new middle school for the Goliad Tigers coming along.
Israel's war against Hamas now entering a new phase as concerns grow about a worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza. I'm ABC's Justin Finch in Washington. That story coming up.
And coming up right after the break, we're going to take a look at that school bus forecast and those rain chances for today, and that's coming up next. Well, good morning, Crossroads. Look at a live look of Victoria. It's actually North Victoria right there. You can see it's quite cloudy out there. And as you can see also, you can see this camera is kind of shaking and wobble a little bit. It's because it's so windy out there and quite cold. 46 is that morning temperature right now this morning, and 40-degree dew point, though, bringing the humidity to a 79%, which is actually kind of weird because we're getting a moist cold come through instead of a dry cold, which is normal off the mountains. And that wind at 26 sustained out of the north right now, with gusts probably up to 35 as we speak. Well, if you're senior kiddos out to school this morning, about 45 is that morning temperature as they're heading out the door and getting on the bus. Cold and windy, so maybe pack them a heavy jacket this morning. And we're only going to rise just a few degrees this afternoon. Maybe 48 is the afternoon high, with maybe some scattered showers lingering around in the area this afternoon. Take a look at what's going on in the live radar. Here we got all this rain that's coming, that's slowly coming our way. That's all north of us. It's probably going to be in our area by this afternoon. Take a look at that future tracker. Nothing in the morning, but like I said, probably in the mid to late afternoon is what we're thinking. We might see those showers. And as we take a look at that 7 day, we're going to be returning to that southerly flow, bringing us back to the 80s this weekend. We're going to take a look at that and more in just a few moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Big rivalries, playoff seeding, and the district titles on the line. Sports reporter Zach Brown has more.
We are entering the last week for the regular season of the high school football season, and boy, do we have some big matchups ahead of us. Victoria West, who almost upset the undefeated Miller Buccaneers, and the Victoria East Titans, who did pull an upset over Veterans Memorial, get the big showdown this Friday. This game promises to be a fantastic showdown. And another big game this week, the Refugio Bobcats versus the Ganado Indians. This game for the district title. Keelan Brown surrounded by elite track speed. The Bobcats projected to win the district, but Ganado, led by quarterback Bryce Ullman, has thrown over 30 touchdowns on the year. Ganado's defense, though, is what really makes this interesting. They've only allowed more than 20 points twice the entire season. Can't wait for that big battle. And another big battle, the Hallettsville Brahmas will welcome the Yoakum Bulldogs this Friday. Those two will battle it out for playoff positioning. They're playing one of the tougher districts in the state. These two certainly battle tested as they get ready for big pushes in the postseason. And the Cowboys got a big win. Texans got a brutal loss, but tonight, Game 3 of the World Series. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Turning overseas to Israel's war against Hamas militants, Israel says its offensive has entered a second stage as it expands air and ground attacks. Hamas also intensifying its airstrikes as the death toll rises.
This morning, an apparent sign of present Middle East tensions reverberating thousands of miles away. New video circulating online showing chaos at this airport in the predominantly Muslim Russian Republic of Dagestan. Russian media reporting a mob of hundreds rushing that airport, chanting anti-Semitic slogans, some making their way onto the tarmac, targeting passengers from a flight from Tel Aviv. Health officials say more than 20 were injured. Israel condemning the incident, pressing Russia to protect the safety of all Israeli citizens and Jews and act resolutely against the rioters. At the Israel-Gaza border, airstrikes escalating. The Israeli Defense Forces bolstering its Gaza ground offensive against Hamas militants, dispatching armored tanks into the Palestinian territory. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying Israel is now in an expanded second phase of war. The Israeli PM and President Biden speaking via phone, with Biden saying Israel needs to defend itself in a manner consistent with international humanitarian law. Across Gaza, death and destruction, food and water running low. The United Nations warning of a worsening humanitarian crisis. The agency says thousands of Gazans broke into their warehouses, taking basic survival items, calling it a worrying sign civil order has started to break down. Israel says today it plans to increase the amount of aid going into Gaza, but didn't say by how much. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Plans for a new middle school in Goliad are coming along. The GMS land survey is complete. These are the near final exterior renderings of the future middle school. Goliad ISD said on their Facebook they have spent an extensive amount of time ensuring an economic and practical design while maintaining a true to Goliad look and feel. Proposed groundbreaking is scheduled for spring 2024. Other HVAC, fencing, and roof projects are ongoing with bond funds throughout the district. Let's take a look at your viewer poll this morning. You can scan the QR code on your screen to take part. This question is for those pet owners out there. Do you plan to dress your pet for Halloween? Okay, let's take a look. 6% of you say yes, you do, and 94% of you say no, you do not. Still time to make some plans there. And we want to see your pet costume photos. You can share those with us at crossroadstoday.com/vote. The time is now 6:46 on your Monday morning. Still to come, several people have died and others are hurt following a collision between trains in India. Okay, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy 4th birthday to Taylin. We hope you enjoy your day. We love you and we're very proud of you, Taylin. Love Mommy, Daddy, Trayton, and Callie.
And happy birthday to Elijah. Happy 14th birthday to my baby boy.
Aww. And Matthew Morrison, best known as Mr. Shoe for the TV series Glee, turns 45 today. Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to Neveja. Happy birthday, baby girl. Hope you had an awesome day today. Mom and Dad love you so very much. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com, click on More, and under Home, you'll see KAVU to submit your birthday.
All right, the time is now 6:47 on our Monday morning. Speaking of submitting birthdays, my sister Annie, her birthday's tomorrow.
Oh,
so
look at that. Happy birthday.
I'm gonna submit her photo.
Absolutely.
All right, well, happy birthday if you're celebrating one today.
Absolutely. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. Well, we got another weather poll for you this morning. It actually goes in line with that cold weather we're having here. Let's take a look what y'all are saying. What do you think today's high will reach today? Because it's going to be quite a cool one today. 11% of y'all are saying 46 is that high today. 11% of y'all are saying 47 is that high today. None of y'all are saying 48 is the high. 11% are saying 49, and 67, the overwhelming majority, are saying 50 degrees is that high for today. To vote on today's weather poll, to participate and see what everybody else is saying as well, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote weather, and to, like I said, participate and see what everybody else is saying as well, what that temperature might be today. We're going to take a look at that temperature on this high-res model. Now this one's obviously going to have a little uncertainty as it's just another computer model. But we'll take a look at this morning. We're expecting pretty much mid to maybe even some areas low 40s in some areas, but we're going to be warming up just maybe a couple degrees today. Maybe like 2 or 3 degrees is warming up to the high of like we're talking maybe upper 40s is the high for today. But it's going to be windy as well to go along with those cold temperatures. We're expecting those sustained winds probably to the low to mid 20s with gusts up to possibly 35, maybe even upper 30s in some areas as well. We're going to take a look at what's going on the rest of this week as that cold front moves off. This high that's actually reinforcing that cold air is going to move back into the Gulf. That's what's going to bring us some southerly flow right out of the Gulf, bringing us back to those warm temperatures by this weekend. And we're going to take a look at that in just a few moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. At least 13 people have died and 27 others are hurt following a collision between two trains in India Sunday. That's from a senior government leader. It took place when a train came to a halt due to a break in an overhead cable. An oncoming train then hit the stationary one, causing the two coaches carrying more than 90 people to derail. A preliminary investigation suggests this was caused by human error. Israeli military forces are increasing the presence of military vehicles near the border of Gaza as it continues its ground operation expansion. An increase of military vehicles was seen along the southern Israeli border. Internet and phone connectivity were restored for many people in Gaza on Sunday after Israeli strikes had knocked out most communications in the territory late Friday. Israel launched airstrikes on the Gaza Strip and sealed it off from food, fuel, and other supplies in retaliation for the surprise October 7th attack. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the 3-week-old Israel-Hamas war a fight for Israel's existence. The war is the deadliest of 5 Gaza wars for both sides. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. The search is underway for a suspect accused of killing 3 people and hurting 3 others in a Saturday night Texarkana shooting. The search is underway for a suspect accused of killing 3 people and hurting 3 others in a Saturday night Texarkana shooting. Police are searching for 20-year-old Brioski Warren. Authorities say a fistfight broke out between 2 men at a party around 9 p.m. Officers say at least 2 men pulled out rifles and started shooting. 1 man died at the scene. Another man and a woman died overnight in the hospital. 3 other victims, 2 men and a woman, suffered life-threatening injuries and were taken to a hospital for treatment. Texarkana authorities say they are attempting to locate Warren. Anyone with information on this case or where Warren might be is encouraged to contact authorities or to submit an anonymous tip to Texarkana Crime Stoppers. Early voting continues in Victoria County. The latest numbers look like this. 288 people voted in person early Friday. 955 people voted early in Victoria County so far. 6 mail-in votes were received Friday, making a total of 335 mail-in votes received so far. And you can vote early in Victoria County all week. The hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., including today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and extended hours on Thursday and Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can vote at the Dr. Petty Dotson Public Health Center in Classroom A. In this Texas constitutional amendment election, Proposition 7 would authorize the creation of the Texas Energy Fund. It would be established in the Texas Constitution to fund the construction, maintenance, modernization, and operation of electric generating facilities. Proposition 7 requires that the Public Utility Commission set aside money to eligible projects in each region with an electric power grid that are consistent with that region's load share. Election day is Tuesday, November 7th. If you are someone summoned for jury duty today at the Victoria County Courthouse, this notice is for you. Today's 8:30 a.m. jury trial is canceled and will not be rescheduled. Again, the jury summoned for today at the Victoria County Courthouse does not need to appear. Victoria County Commissioners meet today at 10 a.m. at the Victoria County Courthouse. Here are some items from the agenda. They'll consider approval of the 2023 property tax rates for all taxing entities within Victoria County. Commissioners will also consider approval of the jury selection plan from the Victoria County District Judges. Virtual meeting options are available if you cannot attend today's meeting in person. As Texas bans diversity and equity offices at public colleges, Rice University's inclusion efforts march on. You can read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And let's take one last look at our viewer poll today. This viewer poll, well, we'll take a look at that a little bit later, I guess, later this week. We did ask if you plan to dress your pet for Halloween this week, and we want to see those photos. Just go to crossroadstoday.com/vote. Oh, there's a viewer poll. 6% of you say yes, and the rest of you say no. Now let's get a look at our forecast with Parker.
Thanks, Carolina. If you're all waking up with us or tuning in this morning, it is quite cold and windy out there. You're actually looking at a live look at Victoria. It's actually North Victoria right there. You can see that camera bouncing around with the wind. 46 degrees that morning temperature to start out your day. Dew point of 40, bringing that humidity to a 79, so it's actually a moist cool out there, but with the wind of 17, it is quite cool with that wind chill, probably about in the low 40s. We're going to be heating up to just a couple degrees actually today, probably maybe the upper 40s today, and cooling back down to the 30s overnight. So if you have some plants, depending on what plants they are, might want to bring them inside because it's going to get cold overnight. And as that cold front moves off, we're going to get that high to return back into the Gulf, giving us that southerly flow, bringing us those warm, humid conditions back to our area by this weekend. As you can see, 80s are on the forecast for this weekend. That's it for weather today. You have a marvelous rest of your Monday.
All right, thank you, Parker, and thank you for joining us. Have a great start to your week. Remember, follow us on our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join us tonight for News Now at 5, 6, and 10.